What if everything you've learned about human history is wrong? What if civilization didn't begin 6,000 years ago in Mesopotamia, but much earlier, before the pyramids, before written language, before even agriculture? New discoveries are challenging everything we thought we knew, and they're being ignored by mainstream historians. This is the hidden story of humanity, one they don't want you to question. In the rolling hills of southeastern Turkey lies a site that has shaken the foundation of archaeology, Göbekli Tepe. Discovered in the 1990s, this prehistoric temple complex is now dated to nearly 12,000 years ago, 6,000 years before Stonehenge and the Great Pyramid. What makes this even more astonishing is that Göbekli Tepe was built by a society that, according to mainstream history, didn't even have agriculture. They were supposed to be hunter-gatherers, nomads without cities, without organization, without tools sophisticated enough to move multi-ton stones. And yet, here we have massive T-shaped pillars, arranged in circular enclosures, decorated with intricate carvings of animals and strange humanoid forms. These weren't random rocks. They were sacred, planned, and aligned. But why? Who built this? And perhaps more importantly, why did they bury it? Yes, Göbekli Tepe was deliberately buried under tons of dirt sometime after it was used. Who covers up a monumental site unless they're trying to hide something? Mainstream archaeologists claim it was the dawn of religion, that people built temples before they built cities, but others suggest something more radical, that Göbekli Tepe is the remnant of a forgotten civilization, one that predated everything we know. Thousands of miles away in Egypt lies another puzzle, the Great Sphinx of Giza. Traditional Egyptology dates the Sphinx to around 2500 BCE, carved during the reign of Pharaoh Khafre. But here's the controversy. Geologists like Dr. Robert Scott argue that the erosion patterns on the Sphinx don't match that timeline. The deep vertical weathering on the Sphinx's body looks more like rain erosion, not the horizontal wind and sand erosion found elsewhere in the desert. But heavy rainfall hasn't occurred in that part of Egypt since around 10,000 BCE, during the end of the last ice age. If Scott is right, and the Sphinx is over 12,000 years old, then the entire timeline of Egyptian civilization is off by thousands of years. That would mean the Sphinx was already ancient when the pyramids were built. Of course, this theory is rejected by mainstream scholars. But ask yourself, are they protecting truth or preserving a narrative? Let's take a step back. All around the world, ancient myths speak of a lost civilization, a golden age destroyed by cataclysm. In Greece, we hear of Atlantis, a powerful culture that vanished in a single night. In Egypt, there's the story of Zep Tepi, the first time when gods walked among men and built the foundations of their society. In India, the Mahabharata tells of wars fought with flying machines and divine weapons, and almost every culture has a flood myth, eerily similar tales of destruction and rebirth. What if these aren't just stories? What if they're fragmented memories of a prehistoric civilization wiped out by a massive catastrophe around 10,800 BC, a period known as the Younger Dryas? This was a time of sudden climate change, rising seas, and possible comet impacts. If any advanced culture had existed during the Ice Age, much of its evidence would now be underwater or destroyed. Some researchers believe that sites like Göbekli Tepe and the Sphinx are the last surviving traces of this lost world. Not proof of aliens, but proof that humanity had risen before. So why hasn't this theory gone mainstream? Because it challenges the very framework of modern academia. Admitting that a civilization existed before Mesopotamia would force textbooks to be rewritten, degrees to be re-examined, and reputations to crumble. And so, alternative voices, geologists, independent archaeologists, rogue researchers, are dismissed as conspiracy theorists, even when the evidence is clear. But science is supposed to follow the evidence, not preserve a dogma. If the facts suggest human civilization is older than we thought, shouldn't we be curious enough to investigate further? We may not have all the answers, not yet. But one thing is certain, the human story is far older, far deeper, and far more mysterious than we're being told.